Hello, everyone. It is June 28, 2024. Sure hope you're all doing well. Another thunderstorm. We weren't supposed to get rain, according to the forecast, until Sunday. We had a thunderstorm that goes on forever. All gray cloud coverage. Remember thunderstorms? Washed away the humidity. The air it smelled so wonderful and clean. And the dark blue skies, forget about it. The thunder goes on forever. The thunder sometimes is rather scary. So is this lightning that, is very close to, I walked out on the porch at one point and the lightning comes very close, but a thin little kind of a nano. It was nano lightning. That's what it looked like. Weird. After the rain, I'm walking around the yard because some things were blown, of course. The winds, right? I'm walking around the yard, and on the side of the house, it's dry. It's dry. It's dry. I don't know. It's scary though. When you have had the experience of something happening, and my experiences have been nothing compared to what other Americans have experienced, but it's still like, okay, what's next? What's next? Yeah. It's exhausting also. I'm done with it. I'm tired. And I just want to say, having looked at so much of what's going on, for Americans, here, no smooth streaming, of course. For Americans, I think your most immediate threat is weather. Then it's migrant violence. And then it's all-out war. We'll get into it. Hello, Analog Synth Player. Sandra, hello. Thank you, Sandra, for your kind words. Much needed. Oh boy, much needed. You're going to have your first hurricane in Florida. Oh, four hurricanes are forming? Yeah, okay. Makes sense. We had a hurricane in Montana. I'll show it to you in a sec. Everyone, just be prepared for anything at any time. Alicia DeMoss, B-Dub, hello. I'm not managing Arizona. I'm not. That's the truth. It's raining a lot here. Well, you had severe weather alerts. What a surprise. I mean, pretty much all of Florida. I want to include the Panhandle, but you can't quote me on that. You'll see it. I took a capture. But pretty much all of Florida, supercell manifestation all over the place. And also the coastline, from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, supercells manifest. I mean, it's so easy to see that our weather is not Mother Nature. It is not climate change. It is being controlled, but hey. So, Joni and Dude and Mama Rages, thank you, sweetie. Yes, I actually have my terms of endearment, and so I kind of get embarrassed, but that one slipped out, so Mama Rages, there you go. Oh God, Rods and Demore and Tom Tamata. Hi. But yeah, Steve Ladner, hello. Wish it was raining where I live because it's hot as hell. Okay. Wouldn't that be great if the heat left after these thunderstorms? Remember, the temperature would drop, the humidity would drop. It was like the best weather. The thunderstorms only lasted 10, 15 minutes. Now they just go on endlessly and endlessly. Mental pancakes, hello. And let's see who else. We've got Rick Yorkin and Jay Northrup and Michael Mossberg and Christopher Levins. Hey. Oh, thanks, Christopher. Ruled by Fictions. I like that username. And Julie and I might be repeating myself, but, you know, my memory is pretty much gone. Christy Hazelwood, hello. Angelos, Justin Wynn. I've asked you about whether or not a job opportunity came your way, and unfortunately, because the chat is what it is, when I go on, there's a delay, and I can't look at all of the comments, so I still don't know. And I'm asking because I have a subscriber's daughter on my mind who's in her 20s, who had a fabulous job in Miami, making 6 figures, and she just got fired, and there's not going to be a comparable job out there. And of course, you know, the firing today, Americans treat one another like shit. Bada boom. There, I said it. Now, if you don't, good. You are the select few. But let me just tell you that there is something drastically, seriously wrong with Americans. And that's another thing I'm really tired of. Rage Against the Machine, Taylor Noose, Wonder Why, Hey, Amber Eyes, and if I've missed anybody, let me just say hello to you. Awake and Sleeper, hello. Joser, hello. And Cecilia Amirani. Wow, beautiful weather today in New York City. Good. You deserve it after those storms. You're still waiting to hear back. Okay. All right. Justin, keep us posted. I really do want to know. Yeah. I really do. You know, this subscriber's daughter saved quite a bit of money, and she's okay, but we know that people are being laid off with nice salaries, you know, and they're not able to find that kind of job anymore. So, and a lot come with major betrayals. You know, the laying off is done in such, it's like the cold-heartedness of laying people off is really quite, I will never not be shocked by how people treat one another. T. Lamb, hi. So, yeah, let's look at radar. You still have your supercells, but a whole lot of them have diminished in their power, which is good. Georgia, you got your supercells activated. Alabama. See, even these little blips, that thunderstorm today had a little tiny, tiny, tiny blip. Tiny, tiny, tiny blip. And you hear the thunder. Some of it sounds like it's a bomb hitting. And the lightning. And the winds whipping around. And at that time, there was no severe weather alert, but they put it up later. The severe weather alert is supposed to come before the severe weather happens. That's not what happened, because I checked to see, any severe weather alerts in Arizona? No, not when I checked, which was, 3:30, 3 o'clock. And, but when I checked, opening up that site again prior to doing the live, then we had an alert. So yeah, it's look, this world that we're living is really, it takes a lot out of you, especially when you happen to be suffering the consequences, and then just watching everything that's going on, and then experiencing, the roof came off a couple of nights ago, and fortunately, some of the winds were pretty intense. So, and I'm like, I don't freak out, and I think I'm pretty calm during crisis. But I can't imagine those who've been through Hurricane Katrina, those who have been through, what happened to my, loading images, those who have been through tornadoes, hurricanes, with an awful lot of damage, they must be like very nervous when weather comes about. So, I was. It seemed that the only person, or the only life form that was not, was Bookend, who is still just, his head is hanging over the cat bed. He's unfazed. Little one is underneath the bed. Babe is behind the toilet. And this one, unfazed. It's strange because you would think he would be a little bit nervous, but no. So, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm rattling on. And there comes the little one, running fast. Well, that makes me want to check outside to make sure that everything is okay. So, yeah, we're going to do wildfires.
Look at some wildfires burning in our region, 2 in Oregon and 1 in Washington. So let's start in Oregon. The Darlene 3 fire is burning in Deschutes County. It's burned more than 2,400 acres now, prompting evacuation orders for the Lapine area. It's now 30% contained. Governor Tina Kotek invoked the Emergency Conflagration Act, which allows additional fire support to assist local crews. No word yet on what caused that fire. We also
Fires. Another fire burning in Oregon.
We have an update on the wildfire burning in Wasco County near Maupin. Central Oregon Fire says the Long Bend fire is now 60% contained. The fire has spread to more than 1,000 acres and spans over 10 miles. About 100 people in the area are still under level 2 evacuation orders.
This is a little longer. I need it because I have to go outside to make sure everything's okay.
ABC 15 Mornings breaking news.
And right off the top at 4:30, we are on wildfire watch this morning as an orange glow can be seen in the northeastern part of the valley. The Boulder View Fire continues to burn in North Scottsdale. Dozens of structures threatened, and now the people that live nearby are out the door after fire officials initiated evacuations that began at midnight. Want to send it over to our Jamie. Warren live on the scene right now. So
I think I'm going down. Yeah, I'm definitely going down. This is not good. I am going to check out Rumble, but it's hard. It's hard for me to do new things. Yeah. Excellent connection. Excellent connection. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, so this is in Arizona, Scottsdale. Evacuations in place, another fire. Fires in Oregon, fires in Arizona, another fire in North Mountain, which is north of Phoenix, this in Arizona.
Burning tonight. The other one is in North Phoenix near 19th Avenue and Cactus, where crews have been battling a brush fire for over an hour on North Mountain.
That's right. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is on scene right now for us. And Chase, what are you seeing where you are?
Well, Creepy Mark, I'll tell you, it appears that Phoenix firefighters have gained the upper hand on this brush fire. As we were driving in an hour ago, you could see those flames about a mile away, and take a look at what it is now. I also want to point out, look how much light Phoenix firefighters have on this mountain. You can see those flashlights over there as they're going through each area looking for any additional.
See, once it starts to slow down, that's when the buffering continues. And let me see. Oh, yes. I have excellent connection for about 30 seconds and boom. You know, and a subscriber left me a comment and she talked about artificial intelligence using up so much bandwidth that it's screwing up. I don't know, but I never even factored that in, but I am wondering. But look, the hotspot that I've been using here has been okay up until like 2 weeks ago. And now it just sucks. So, and it's not just YouTube, you know, just trying to turn a page or, you know, searching something and going to a website. It's very slow. So, is it buffering? Because if it continues, then I'm just going to end it because it's too frustrating for me to continue. But there's an awful lot of information that I did want to share. So, what I'm going to do is first show you the fabulous hurricane in Montana. Nothing unusual about that. Nothing at all. And this was when the thunderstorms. Now we're in Florida. You got the supercell action going, and these tiny, tiny blips right here is where I am. Right here. That's what caused the thunderstorm? Yeah. Again, the forecast, you can't count on any forecast at all. But the forecast was that we wouldn't be getting any rain until... Well, that is obviously not true. Yeah, the whole internet experience is very different, from 10 years ago. And it's not just the hotspot. I mean, I'm hearing it from other people too. All right, so I'm going to just go to a page that, is this it? Yes. I'm going to drop the links in the chat. I hope I remember to put them underneath the video when it posts, because I'm probably not going to be able to play without interruption the videos. But there's a lot going on. And of course, right before I go on live, Deer Park, New York, which is where my father, my stepmother, my half-brother and sister lived, on Long Island. This was very, very many decades ago. So, numerous emergency personnel are on the scene of a mass casualty incident after a van crashed into a nail salon, killing multiple people inside and injuring many others. Deer Park, Long Island, New York. Killing at least 4 victims. 9 others have been injured and hospitalized. Incident unfolded at Hawaii Nail and Spa inside a strip mall. Police said a motorist in a minivan drove through the building, all the way through the building. Several people were trapped. At least one person was airlifted to the hospital. Driver partially conscious. Mama Rage's accident? Yeah. Sudden disappearance of life, or sudden seizure, or heart attack, or... Okay, so I am going to post the link to this. A subscriber sent me this, and I want to thank all subscribers for passing along information, especially since collecting all of the information is very hard for me now. The truth about bird flu from a backyard chicken keeper. Very interesting. Listen to her. She's talking about how she has to hand pollinate, how she had to get rid, she doesn't have rabbits anymore because they were dying, or I can't really remember. I listened to it 2 days ago, and it's just been open, and it looks like another thunderstorm is coming. She talks about how all of the she's in Louisiana, all of the poisons, and they are going to eventually. I posted on Never Lose Truth a video about how cats now, domestic cats, are coming down with bird flu. House mice coming down with bird flu. They will eventually say no more. No more. And you want to fight them? Good luck. We should have been fighting decades ago. But now, And when you see the amount the amount of militarized police that we have all over the country, good luck. But eventually, because bird flu seems to be taking a whole lot more traction than monkeypox ever did, because they were talking about culling cats and dogs. And this was in Britain, I think, and they were saying that you had to keep them indoors because of monkeypox. Well, monkeypox didn't gain any real traction. Bird flu is gaining the traction. And eventually, we're going to see things that are unprecedented, and hardly anybody will stand up because we've got a lot of scared Americans. So, I posted the link. I'm going to post it again. And Russian Military of Defense says the U.S. has relocated Ukrainian biolabs to Africa and are planning to release avian flu, this, to start another pandemic and blame it on Putin. Everyone should see this. The link is in the chat. And let me see. I didn't even play the video. Let's see if I can actually play it, and let's see if it has subtitles. I'm not going to read the subtitles. You can read them yourself.
Провокации биологического характера с целью обвинения Российской Федерации. В связи с тем, что нам удалось остановить реализацию военно-биологических программ на освобожденных территориях Украины, Пентагон вынужден переносить незавершенные в рамках украинских проектов исследования в другие регионы. В настоящее время в зону повышенного интереса попала Африка. Мы уже отмечали деятельность ключевых подрядчиков Пентагона на африканском континенте, в Демократической Республике Конго, Сьерра-Леоне, Камеруне, Уганде и ЮАР. Заказчиками со стороны американского правительства является Управление по снижению угрозы Минобороны США ДИТРА и Госдепартамент. Для сокрытия целей проводимых исследований Вашингтон задействует сторонних исполнителей. Это подрядные и посреднические организации Метабиота, Квиксильвер, Эко-Холл-Альянс, всего более 20 компаний, а также предприятия так называемой Биг Фармы. Обратите внимание на коммерческое предложение компании Метабиота с пометкой «Конфиденциально». Она адресована научно-исследовательскому институту инфекционных болезней сухопутных войск США и касается подготовки специалистов по инфекционным болезням в Кении и Уганде. Документ демонстрирует, что изучением патогенов в странах африканского континента занимается Управление Минобороны США по снижению угрозы ДИТРА, Министерство внутренней безопасности, а также для придания видимости взаимодействия с Агентством США по международному развитию. Напомню, что в настоящее время деятельность компании Метабиота прекращена на территории Африки, так как методы ее работы стали вызывать слишком много вопросов на уровне национальных правительств. Так, в 2014 году образцы вируса Эбола были незаконно вывезены представителями компании и переданы в НИИ инфекционных болезней сухопутных войск США. На слайде также проведены участники незаконной военно-биологической деятельности. Среди них бывшие военнослужащие из США и Великобритании, сотрудники Центров по контролю и профилактике заболеваний в Африке, представители Глобального фонда по борьбе со СПИДом.
Okay. Did I put the link in? I don't think I did. I'm going to put the link in. It's never too late to circulate. Yeah. So, and I have on Never Lose Truth videos of that I posted on the biolabs in Ukraine and other countries adjacent to Ukraine. And all of the damage, destruction, making people sick, killing people. Hey, but believe in science because it was all in the name of science. All right, just a few minutes of Poplar report. The link is in the chat. He goes through a summary in the very beginning. That's all you're going to hear. Want details? Click on the link.
After multiple water treatment facilities breached, multiple healthcare centers also having security incidents, they send out an alert to their folks. We'll also discuss the Madison hazmat freight train derailment. The latest on that, we have CDK, an update there. Carbon tax has been passed, and they're going to start taxing the cows. You better believe they will. They are. It's crazy. And Steve will mock the Rainbow Federation for just a little bit. That and more on today's update. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the pop.
Okay, so the carbon tax in Finland or Denmark, that's a happening thing. And I heard that they were going to be charging $100 for each cow or all over the world, that is a happening thing as well. Anybody know about that? Maybe it was on Off the Grid. I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen anything about it. So eventually, you know, they're going to be charging everybody. We know that. But people are, according to what I heard, that it's happening now. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So, migrant from Haiti who was charged with raping a 15-year-old disabled girl in a shelter in Massachusetts let out yesterday on $500 bail. ICE unaware of his whereabouts. Yes. I see as your second most immediate threat migrants. The violence in Americans as well. Time to prepare is now. And did I not set this up properly? I didn't. Okay. Link is in the chat, JWTV. And look at the law enforcement response to migrants at the Randall Island migrant shelter in New York. And apparently this was a fight between a few migrants. Well, this is important. Look at the response. Look at how many show up. And there's an awful lot more, right? Look at this. Going to the migrant center in Randall's Island. Good luck fighting the war machine. Good luck. That's all I can say. I see people leaving comments and, oh, there's so much bravado. Bring it on. I'm ready. I'm prepared. No, you are so not. Because we can imagine scenarios. But I think what's coming is the unimaginable. An evil that is so unprecedented that not even a whole lot of people can even grasp. All right, here we go.
Here is a massive riot control that happened in New York. Because why? Because the invasion teams are here. Today, though, we don't want to just talk about how the invasion teams are here. We want to give some solutions to some of these problems here, because I feel like we're so disconnected as a community, and always just watching people be attacked has to stop. For it to survive anything coming in this near future, we're going to have to band together in a lot of moments, because this right here is one of the shelters that they're at. May I not remind you that they're also getting smuggled weapons to them. And they don't even have to smuggle them anymore at this point. It's to the point now to where it's all just being allowed to happen, because if you don't start an invasion from the inside, whenever they come from the outside, it's not going to be as easy. So where was this at? Well, none other than New York. And so you had somebody obviously have a weapon, bam, inside of somebody's arm or somewhere, and this riot control happened, and this was basically this huge scene. This just happened on, it was June 21st. But we're going to go into events happening on the 27th, 28th, and lots of other things is happening as we speak right now. May I not remind you, like I just said, there is this judge who put this in, saying not only that, oh yeah, we want them to be to the point to where they can get in the military, to they can get into basically the law enforcement. Seattle saying like, oh yeah, we want them in law enforcement. A judge basically said they can get guns under the Second Amendment. And that's the thing. So they get the guns now easier. They can arm them. Here's the next part right here that you got to see. This is when businesses get hit, it sucks. So this is geared towards businesses. This is geared toward people in the population. This is geared toward our defense coming towards the end when we show you everything first. Check this out. They even tell you how they're smuggling the weapons in there. And this was the guy who recently just basically took out a cop. So check this out.
According to audio recordings read by prosecutors, Mata claims he was recruited to join the gang to commit robberies. But the most shocking claim, the gang has been smuggling guns into city-run shelters.
Trendy Aragua members were smuggling firearms into city shelters inside food delivery packages. That way they'll have to go through the metal detector.
The NYPD is on to this gang.
We've never seen anything really like it. They're so dangerous.
Police say within the past year, there's been an increase of over 300% in robberies and grand larcenies. NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny, who was on the 6 o'clock news earlier this week, says it started back in 2022, 2023, when the influx of migrants started arriving. He says these gang members...
So there you go. They're easily getting the weapons and stuff like that now. And this is what I mean by we can't just stand there and look at each other anymore. Because that's what the story of history says. I see all these photos of back when black people getting beat up and brutalized in the racist days. And then I just see stuff of the normal days today where it says bandits storm New York City restaurant and rob diners as shocked dinner crowd looks on. Shocked dinner crowd. Nobody does anything. June 27, 2024. Nobody does anything. And then you complain about how bad the country is, and you know what I'm saying? But it's probably not that it's that person who complains how bad the country is. It's the people who just sit on their butt and do nothing, who just watch.
And there's a lot of people getting very frustrated. JW, I've heard the frustration of nobody doing anything, no one coming together, and that leaves everyone vulnerable and with no escape.
Watch everything happen. That's some of the bigger problems. Just like during 2020 when people were saying, hey, you need to just do what you're being told to do. We can't have that stuff happening anymore. A pair of brazen bandits stormed a crowded Brooklyn restaurant and robbed 3 diners at gunpoint while the horrified diner crowd looked on, according to cops in the report. The duo rushed in Williamsburg Chinese hotspot Birds of a Feather with a gun and demanded 200 Psycho watch and phones, or Seiko, from 3 patrons. And around 9:35 p.m. in plain view, other customers, police said the robbers then fled westbound on a moped. So they just pull out guns, give me your money, and run on a moped, and everybody just like, you know. And again, I don't know the crowd that was there 100%. I don't know if it was somebody that was able, but if it was, they probably didn't have a backbone or spine to even think to do anything. But that's why you gotta have stuff on you too as well. Police said investigators later tracked and recovered 3 iPhones to an address on North 11th Street. The victims were all men in their 20s, police said. Entries at an eatery on Grand Street near Bedford Avenue ranged from $18 to $35.
Okay, so he's got more. Link is in the chat. And You know, of course, New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Denver, other cities. That's where it's really going to explode. But it's coming to all of us. All of us. I mean, it's exploded in pockets of rural America already. So it's just going to be exploding more. A violence that I don't think an awful lot of Americans are prepared to deal with. That's for sure. Look, they were talking 18 million illegal migrants, you know, that are here, that have crossed the border. We have about 35 to 40 million. We have under 300 million. But throughout the years, you know, the additions of the illegals coming across the border, so in total, it's like 35, 40 million. But the new crossers since Biden, well, I've heard that there are some who have put it up to 18 million. I don't think it's that high. But even if it was 1 million, that's high enough. 10 million? That's friggin' madness. That's a military. That's troops. And that's what we got. Military-aged men all over the country positioning themselves. It's an invasion, and we know it. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans just don't want to deal with reality. You know? Don't burst my bubble. I'm having a good time still. Well, eventually your good time is going to come to an end. Look at what happens in Dallas. Dallas, Texas. Yep, be prepared for anything. You're going to go to a restaurant, eat outdoors, and boom, get smacked in the head. Yeah. So, we're already seeing unprecedented violence. Can you imagine what's coming to all of us? I sure do hope you're all prepared. I really do. So, if you're shot, robbed, or assaulted in Chicago, there's a 50-50 chance there'll be no police to respond to your 911 call. And there's an awful lot of cities that have decided, felonies, well, we're going to make them misdemeanors, and, well, we're just not going to be responding to 911 calls. And just recently I included, can't remember where because I've included similar news, and it's happening all over, but there are so many crimes now that the police will just not be responding to. Americans are truly brain dead. Or they just love the drama of everything that's happening. Bring it on. I love this violence. I love this drama. I want more of it. So I'm just not going to do anything. And we have these things happening that are smacking us in the face. These things that should bring us together, but no. Let's watch that fucking presidential debate. As if, you know, and I did watch some of it last night. I couldn't live stream. Get off the live stream. I thought, entertainment. but I want to see what the world is watching. We have become a farcical joke to the world. Both of them claiming that they're the best presidents ever. Both of them lying through their teeth. It was a disgusting display of narcissistic arrogance, caring nothing about the American people, just lying about how wonderful, the wonderful things that they've done for the country. And meanwhile, we have more and more going off the cliff. And this is what we listen to. Okay, so boots on the ground. The link is in the chat. Just going to play a few minutes. Hopefully it will play. Please, YouTube, please. Let me just play a video, just a few minutes of a video, please.
I have no easy answer for you guys and gals, but daily, I am looking at it daily. That's why I haven't been on the air a couple days. I've been working. Things are not getting better. And I'm not here just to get views. Hey, watch this video. I'm going to scare you to death. It's not here to, hey, I'm going to scare you to death, so buy my few survival products I sell. No. I'm here to get you motivated, because there's never a time in my lifetime where we are this close from World War III, and really this close from nukes being involved. The Russians are not going to sit by and lose a conventional fight when they have thousands and thousands and thousands of tactical nukes that they could use in Europe. They're going to use them because they know they're going to be fighting for their country's survival, and the probably number one tenet in their policy with nukes are if the existence of our country is at stake. So they're going to use them. Got some reports from overseas, Army guys, that the military is getting ready. They are actively preparing. We haven't seen actually the reserve components, other than the reserve components are being told by their commanders, their sergeant majors, that you better start training like your life depends on it, because we are going to war. So, I'm not trying to scare you. You need to be actively preparing for a conflict with NATO, NATO and the Russians. Because if you're just saying, it might never happen, you're going to be caught flat-footed. You're not going to be ready, because this is what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to wake up when a conflict develops, and they're going to run to Amazon or run to Walmart, run to the stores, and they're going to say, man, I need survival supplies. And those things are going to be drained very quickly. Then if we have a problem with China and they're not sending us more products, you're not going to have things that you're going to need. So now is the time. Now, I'm not going to say to panic, but yes, you need to panic now and get your house in order. Even if you say, Dave, I don't got enough money to prep. Even if you just have enough money to buy the same food you will buy next week or the week after, the same, whatever you eat, canned beans, canned corn, whatever you eat that you can buy and that's going to store multiple years. Canned goods are good for years and years and years. But buy it in the sense where, you know what, I might need it in 6 months because there's a conflict. Or if I don't, if there's no conflict, I will just eat it. The one thing is going to be, I guarantee you, whatever you buy today, in 6 months will be more expensive. So you're going to save money, and hopefully you have peace of mind knowing that you have some food put back for your family. Look at all kinds of things. Look at water. Look at your personal safety. Are you at ground zero? And if you are, make a plan to get out. And it doesn't have to cost you a penny to make a plan. It's get some maps out, look at your address book and your telephone directory in your phone and say, oh, our aunt and uncle lives right over here, and that's a really good safe place. Or I have friends or a cousin over here. That's safer than my house. Maybe I'll call them up and start a conversation with them. That's what you need to do. But there is no good news. I could preach to you for an hour what is happening. And if you look at the national news that the U.S. has, it's not telling you the full story. It's not telling you the full truth. you have to dig deep into a lot of news from overseas and digest what's coming out. It's not good. The whole world is preparing. I'm watching Turkey. I have no idea what side Turkey's going to go on. Are they going to go on the side of NATO and Europe and us? Are they going to go on the I almost said Soviet Union, on the side of Russia, China, Korea? I think this is what Turkey's going to do. I think Turkey's going to sit it out, and they're going to let us fight it out, and then join the winning team later, or they're going to sit it out right now and let us blow each other up, and then they can emerge as the next superpower. So Turkey is not dumb people. Don't think, oh, they're Turkeys. They're from Turkey. No, they're very smart. They have had a lot of success in having an empire many, many, many years ago. Not current. But watch Turkey and what they do. Watch Israel. Watch what they're going to do with Hezbollah and Lebanon. It looks like there's going to be a war. And the reason I think there's going to be a war, because I think the U.S. and Russia and NATO are going to get into it, but they're trying to delay that a few months so Israel can move in, take care, and then be able to defend themselves or assist the United States, assist NATO against Iran, against Korea, against China. We're seeing China really flexing their muscles over there, taking on the Philippines, just being a bully. They are definitely flexing. They're seeing how much they can get away with. So watch that carefully. If we're occupied in Europe, they will have no problems going in and taking Taiwan. It's going to happen. So I hope you're prepping. I hope you're preparing. I'm not here to scare you. Please don't think I'm trying to scare you.
And he's not. We have an awful lot brewing, and none of it is good. So, and again, Obama signing the National Defense Authorization Act that literally ripped apart our due process rights. A whole lot of Americans have experienced not having any due process rights. That was one of the very few distinguishing characteristics that made Americans different from others all over the world. Due process rights. You know, you get to know what the charges are, speedy trial, an attorney. Yeah, okay. Those are gone. They're gone. And I remember, I was like, what? I was in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, my Democrat friends. None of them cared. Not one cared. That was what really got me out of the matrix. I thought, okay, because Obama walked on water to them. They didn't want to hear it. I was negative. Okay, so they're gone. Americans really should have. Well, there have been so many moments, they're just adding up, where Americans should have realized, holy shit, this isn't right. What's happening to our country? It's gone.
Ethan Wentworth and Rusty Herr operate No Bull Solutions, a reproductive management company for dairy cattle, operating out of Pennsylvania. On April 10th, Rusty Herr was arrested at a county office. On April 11th at 6:45 a.m., Ethan Wentworth was arrested from his home in the presence of his family by local law enforcement. Both men were admitted to their respective county prisons, where they served a 30-day civil sentence without opportunity for bail. At the time of their arrest and imprisonment, the men, their now attorney Robert Barnes, local news outlets, and even the State Veterinary Medical Board allegedly had no idea as to why they were arrested and imprisoned without bail. As news of their arrest broke, stories began to circulate that this was an arrest without due process. Due process being a constitutional right, twice instated, first in the Fifth Amendment and then in the 14th Amendment. The Fifth Amendment citing, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law." ACLU Pennsylvania citing due process guarantees not imprison someone or take away his or her children without allowing the person to challenge the government's actions. I spent about 3 days combing through state and county records to retrieve a timeline that would
Well, I thought that this would click on. Yeah. Pennsylvania dairy technicians. Pennsylvania farming arrest. Food laws due process. Without bail. Horrible, horrible men. Stick 'em in jail. Without bail. Okay. So, we've allowed this to go on with a whole lot of innocent people being picked up by our tyrannical government, thrown in jail, no bail, and we see that there's an awful lot of people that really do need to be in jail. Their bail has to be either no bail or very, very high so that they can't obtain the bail monies, but no. We'll let the criminals back out on the street, and we're going to jail these dairy technicians. And I can't remember exactly what they were doing, but it went against what the government wants. I guess we're just going to allow this to happen. Link is in the chat. Very important. Hope you watch it. Sorry that I can't play it. YouTube, man. Sucks. And this is another JWTV's video. Now this. Thousands in outages. Okay. Here we go.
Clean energy is so important that in Michigan, they just blew up a power plant. That's going to cause...
Now, it was a defunct power plant, but could they have done what was necessary to get it up and running? I'm sure they could have. Instead, they're bringing it down. And this is Michigan. Whitmer, I mean, if you know, and be by their side when, your mother or father is dying. But it comes out that they did what they told the people that they're supposed to be representing, told them not to do. And we did not. Okay? And they're still in power.
Restrictions on large scale utility outages. They said this take place on or after, disruptive events policy. And they were saying this could occur on the 6th or right after the 6th. And here we are right after the 6th, and then we got update global AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon outages for U.S. customers. So this has been an issue, and it's for people traveling abroad. Also, we have where it's just lots and lots of more people that's basically in power outages right now as we speak, thousands of them. And before we get into this, let's just go into this video really quick. And let's just disrupt everything. This guy, he's seen some children inside of I think it was a budget truck in Atlanta, Georgia. His name is Langston Proper. June 27th. The guy followed the truck. The guy made a call. And there were basically kids inside this truck. And he stood up. He did the right thing. This is what needs to happen at large, because we moved into a phase where we know we're in this corrupt empire. And honestly, I'm just tired of the complicity. I'm tired of the oh, well, we got to just do this. Oh, we got to just lay down to the tyranny. Oh, we just got it. It's really getting to the point where that's just disgusting to me. So the cops come, they pull over this budget truck, and they actually go, because this one guy, he kept following the truck. And I'm guessing he called the police or something like that too, so they can come see what the scenario is. And then obviously they go in and they get ready to open up the truck. And what do you think they find?
Good evening. I'm Christine Johnson. Maurice is off tonight. Tens of thousands of people are currently without power. And another round of rain is moving through parts of the area right now. In East Orange, New Jersey, a downed tree at a home here brought police to the scene here. It's unclear what was hit by that tree, but you can see a distraught family sitting out front of that home. And lightning was widespread across the sky, moving through the area. More rain coming down and will continue overnight. We have team coverage of this red alert, beginning with meteorologist Vanessa Murdoch and our forecast. Vanessa.
Well, Christine, every single circle you see behind me is a result of that line of severe thunderstorms that raked across the region between 7 and 10 p.m. Between damage reports,
wow,
in Hawthorne, New Jersey, and I want to show you what we're looking at right now. This massive tree branch that has pierced the roof of this two-story home here. I spoke to the homeowner a short time ago. He said that he and his wife were watching TV downstairs and that the storm at some points was so loud he couldn't even hear the programming over the sounds of the wind. He says they heard a large crack of thunder and then this big tree branch that he says is so big it's actually going through 2 different rooms on the 2nd floor of his house here. Him and his wife left a short time ago to stay with family for the night. He says that they're shaken up but are grateful that nobody was hurt.
You can bet that every single day, someone, somewhere, for sure the world, but in our own neck of the woods, good old US of A, they're suffering the consequences of weather warfare. Severe weather slams northeast with hurricane force winds, likely tornadoes. Likely tornadoes? What? You're kidding.
Vicious storms crashing outdoor plans across Metro New York City. That included the final game of the Yankees-Mets Subway Series. Mets, by the way, sweeping that one after a 90-minute delay. And in East Orange, New Jersey, a man was hit by a tree and knocked
North Lindsay Avenue. The windows smashed out of this office. The roof ripped off on this corner and spread throughout the parking lot. Significant damage by 80-plus-mile-an-hour winds overnight. This just goes to show you how strong those storms were. In other areas, we've been across the metro this morning tracking about a dozen scenes. Downed power lines, trees in the roads, a significant impact to your morning commute if you are going to be on the road early this morning. We've seen police blocking streets as well. More than 40,000 power outages still this morning. So anybody on the roads needs to take some extra time and give themselves that extra bit of precaution this morning. Check on your loved ones who might not have power, as today is expected to be one of the hottest days of the year so far. And as we bring you back live to the scene, of course, the damage done to the building, but in the parking lot, just to show you again how significant the damage is. The debris continues into the parking lot over on that side. That's part of the roof that was completely ripped off by the storms overnight. So just goes to show you how significant some of the damage is here across the metro.
Okay, so we have Idaho, Oklahoma. We have all of the flooding still going on. Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa. Severe weather that caused damage in Michigan, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. I'm leaving out Pennsylvania. I'm leaving out states. All within the last couple of days. You would think that people would question that. Here we go. West Michigan.
Yeah, Julia, Elena, we have since relocated to Veterans Memorial Park, just a couple miles up the road. And that's because at Pioneer Park, the campground where all of the damage happened, there was so much damage and so many power outages that we couldn't even get a signal to send back to you all at home. But it was those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that gave campers only a moment's notice to react.
Well, about 5 o'clock this morning, we were, both sleeping off and on because you could hear the rain and the wind, and all of a sudden the whole inside of the tent just expanded, and you heard this massive whoosh, and the tent started to collapse.
Collapsed on my side first.
Yep.
And then I was able to yell to him, jolting him, and he moved just enough to miss that tree that came down on his pillow.
This area right here, this is where my head was.
No.
Yeah, and I could feel the tree on my shoulder as I was sliding off the cot.
Rich and his wife Patty then had to crawl out of this tent. The first thing crossing their mind, where's their family? It's a family reunion that was all happening just to the right of me, but you can see his brother's tent completely encompassed by trees. Thankfully, none of them were hurt. And this was just the start of the damage here at Pioneer Park. One couple just up the road started their evening celebrating their 27th wedding anniversary and, of course, woke up to a very different morning.
It was probably about, 5:30 in the morning. And I was sitting in the camper looking out the side window, and I could see the trees kind of bending sideways, and I was like, oh no, this isn't good.
And I just made a quick comment like, I hope a tree doesn't fall on our camper. Like, that would be awful.
And then we heard the crack, and then I was lodged down onto the floor by something that had hit me. And I was just talking and trying to listen to see if everybody else was okay.
What's going through your head in a moment like that?
Well,
survival.
Yes. First of all, you wait to hear to make sure that he's speaking. He's waiting to hear that I'm speaking. And then when we're both knowing that we're okay, then I'm like, where's the year-old puppy that we have in the trailer?
I mentioned the water is up to my knees. Yesterday, when we tested out this area for live locations, it was about up to my thighs. So it has gone down just a little bit. But where I'm standing right now, you can see is a gas station. This is where cars would drive into this carport, fill up their tanks. Certainly not the case anymore. And I want to give you a little bit more of a view of what we're seeing. This is one of the main thoroughfares of Waterville. I'm just completely swallowed by this flood water. Residents have gotten out of this area, but some have tried to stay to save what they could. We spoke to one family. Here's what they had to say.
Even if we had insurance, flood insurance, it's like none of it, you can't replace
the
memories.
Kids' memories, yeah.
You can't replace their dog, and
that's all gone.
It's all down,
Yeah, they've been working around the clock, night and day, just to pump so much water out of their basement. As you mentioned there, they lost a puppy and so many of their family heirlooms, precious belongings in this flood. Certainly a worst case scenario for that couple that you heard from there. As we look ahead, we're in a precarious position here. We got some rain overnight. In the forecast, there isn't a whole lot of rain in this area. But Anne Marie, I want you to remember that
Well, all of the businesses and the homes that have been flooded out, when that water sits for such a long time, it's just creating more and more very serious damage. But just want to say something to chew on, all to make us feel unsafe. We are unsafe. We are unsafe. That is the truth. You might be safe in your home this evening. You might wake up, nothing big has happened to you. Guarantee that something big has happened to other people. The unsafety now is very real. That's what and not to scare people, not to freak out people, just to have in your mind an awareness, certainly of your surroundings. You are bookmarking radar sites, alert sites. You're checking it several times throughout the day. It doesn't take an awful lot of time to do that. And you're prepared. You've got that, the most important things that, that if you've got to evacuate pronto, you can just pick up a bag. You've got all of the documents, the deeds, insurance, policy numbers, and within time you're able to rebuild and whatever. There's less and less of you capable of doing that. But if you're one of them, then make sure that you have everything that you need so you can at least try to get that process going as smoothly as possible. That seems to be happening less and less. Can't believe what we're living. Well, I can, but I can't. Waterville, Minnesota flooding sweeps through home.
Woolner's home sustained damage from feet of water rushing into it, flooding into their basement as well. And this all happened after one compromised sandbag led to a steady rush of water racing into their home. That just shows you how narrow of an area this water can get into, and it just doesn't stop. Krista Wallner, she joins me now from Waterville, Minnesota, to talk about everything that's happened. Krista, thank you for being with us here. I'm glad to hear that you and your family are okay after this, but I mean, this is devastating. Can you kind of walk us through the day of that flooding and how it breached through those sandbags? Kind of walk us through what the preparations were like.
The preparations actually started on June 2nd. We noticed that the water was starting to come up. And so we just, trying to be proactive, decided to sandbag along that back wall. And from there, it was kind of slow moving. But then starting last week, it really started to take a turn for the worst. And we were
more concerned. Mike Hitchcock in the chat writes, "Yep, it's real. Just got my 5-day notice to vacate rental property. I'll be forced to go live homeless, put items in storage unit. My vehicle broke down and forced to fix it, and no money for rent." That almost leaves me in tears, because for years I wanted to do something where we could have a cushion for people and subscribers. I couldn't do it alone, and there was no one I trusted well enough to do it. And now, because everything that happened to me recently, I have no money to help. What can we do, Mike? What can we do to help you out? What can we do? Anybody donating to me, I can get to Mike. We needed to organize. We need to help one another out. This is really not okay. Not okay. I'm alone here in a new community and have few friends. I tried to borrow money, but good intended new friends cannot afford to help me. Shit. And Mike, you have a job, just not able to make ends meet. Well, I'm hearing that a lot. I'm hearing that a lot.
There this morning.
Ford 6, I'm Jessica Bowman.
And I'm
Red Cross assists with cleanup. It's not even going to move along. Oh, thank you. Yeah. All right. Mike, if there's anything I can do, please contact me. Email neverlosetruth@gmail.com. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I saw that, Rufus. Mark Passio. I actually have one of his videos open. The real 7 Deadly Sins. The real deadly sins.
Lucky, because going by the drone footage that we've been able to see, it just looks like I'm just going to have a wet basement.
As our cameras arrived at the intersection of North Shore Drive and Penrose Drive, the tragic scene unfolded. Entire homes swept away. Cars toppled like toys. Behind me where I'm standing is North Shore Drive in Penrose, where a lot of the damage has been located. What's crazy about the whole thing is it looks as if 2 rivers were created from the sheer force of the water. As folks returned to these homes, the experience was overwhelming.
Oh, it was quite an emotional ordeal, but actually, honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be as far as the emotional toll of things. It's bad in there. I mean, everything's really slippery. It stinks really bad.
The road to recovery is a long one for residents in McCook Lake, but Roberts remarked, this community is a strong one.
Maybe a strong community, but there's an awful lot of these kinds of disasters that take place. And you have strong communities for a couple of days or a week or maybe even 2 weeks, and then we got to stand strong for everybody, right? 2 masks, same face. I saw that video. I haven't seen it. I was out of this house for many hours today. 2 masks, same face. Absolutely. I'll check it out. I'll definitely watch it. So, yeah, we've got a lot of people hurting, a lot of people in need, subscribers as well. And, you know, what really upsets me is that there has been so many betrayals within our fabulous community of truthers that it's very hard to ask anybody anything, you know. Hard to ask for donations, even if it's for another person. It's, how could you possibly trust anyone? And that's what really pisses me off. That's what really fucking pisses me off. Because they helped to destroy us. All of the liars, all of the cheats. Really, Mark Passio on with Mike Adams. Wow. That's quite a duo. I'll have to check that out. Was it on YouTube or Mike Adams' site? Passio, because of his presentation. I don't care about the presentation. I care about the information, and he's so right on. It is... Very few people are that right on about the great work that we need to do. So I respect him. Semi-truck crash damages Hood River Bridge. Bridge closed until further notice. Do you know how many semi-truck crashes that we're having? A whole lot.
Connecting Hood River to White Salmon has been closed after a semi-truck crashed into it this morning.
And while no one was hurt, the busy bridge is slated to remain closed until safety inspections are completed. Fox 12's Jeffrey Lindblom joins us now live from Hood River with the story. Jeffrey?
Nora Pete, the Port of Hood River says the bridge was closed following a semi-truck crashing into vital parts of the bridge's structural integrity, causing severe damage to both the bridge and people's daily commute.
Very, very big pain in the neck.
Blake Denley is a local to the area, regularly riding around on his motorbike, and he says a friend of his told him about this damage to the bridge during his lunch break.
Said that the bridge had been indefinitely closed due to a vehicle coming in contact with one of the cross members.
Truck had an accident and there's damage to the bridge.
The Port of Hood River.
Trucks hitting bridges. Up, close that bridge. Got barges hitting bridges. Up, close that bridge. Doing my best, Rufus. I'm feeling weaker and weaker every day, though. But fortunately, my ego has been so depleted that I don't even care what people think of me. As far as I'm concerned, we've got really important things going on. Really important things going on. And where am I? Really important things going on. And nothing, as far as I'm concerned, nothing takes precedence over what is happening. And talk about destruction, China, every single day. Now it's a hailstorm the massive flooding going on in China, displacing hundreds of thousands of people. Now it's a hailstorm.
5 p.m. Hailstorm suddenly fell in many towns and villages in Yanqing district, including Changsha.
Well, I'll post the link if you want to see the destruction. Thanks, Rufus. Thank you. Spain. And I will link below to Hustle Bitch's video on this. Now YouTube isn't even showing the full username. This is very bizarre. And I noticed Barb in Ohio leaving a comment underneath a video of mine where YouTube decided to cut off in Ohio, so it was just Barb. All of the numbers next to people's names. Social media, and people think these are private. They're private owners. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. I did so much research. I posted videos showing, oh no, these are government. You've got the intelligence agencies behind all of this, gathering all of the information on all of us.
U.S. funds that were appropriated to help fund the Ukraine war have somehow wound up in the hands of a mining company extracting cobalt in Idaho. We'll get to that, but in case you missed it, something big has happened recently in Idaho. And I mean really big. Yet another potential land grab with deep, twisted roots that lead back to, yes, you guessed it, Bill Gates. Idaho Department of Water Resources issued a curtailment order on May 30th that required 6,400 junior groundwater rights holders who pump off the Eastern Snake Plain aquifer to completely shut off their water. That order affected about 500,000 acres of agricultural land in eastern Idaho. The United States has killed 4.5 million chickens and thousands of cattle, and now they're even trying to destroy farms in Idaho by turning off their water at the start of summer. They have sold hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland to China and hundreds of thousands of acres to Bill Gates. They literally are destroying our food supply right in front of our very eyes. Idaho State Representative Stephanie McAlson said, "You're talking about wiping out family farms and other businesses across the AG sector. It's basically a draconian way to bring about what they need." So, is Bill Gates stealing more land?
Did you know that Bill Gates is the largest private owner of farmland in the U.S.? He owns 270,000 acres. What does Computer Boy want with all that land?
Bill Gates has purchased more farmland in Idaho and is the largest farm owner in the United States next to Chinese investors. They say who controls the food controls the people. Let's also note that Bill Gates grows a ton of potatoes. The largest grower in competition to his product is Idaho potato farmers. Look at this article. McDonald's French fries, carrots, onions, all of the foods that come from Bill Gates' farmland. His reach is enormous. His control, scary. Americans are outraged, calling for an investigation into Bill Gates and what exactly he's doing with the nearly 300,000 acres of American land that he's purchased. Perhaps you've already seen the rubbery fruit that's been trending on social media lately.
For some mysterious reason, in the past few months, there's been loads of videos popping up all over social media of people buying what looks like fake food. It all started just a couple of weeks ago in the United States when several people started noticing that there was something off about the watermelon that they were buying on the supermarkets.
So I got this watermelon And I like to rinse my watermelon before I cut it, and it's like peeling. Does anybody has problems with their watermelon like this? Oh my gosh.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It sounds like the goat is dying.
There are dozens of videos where people buy watermelon from the supermarket and it looks strange. Sometimes it looks like plastic, sometimes it makes these weird noises, and sometimes, or many times actually, it feels as if it's made out of rubber.
So I cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back, saying they don't like the texture. And I've seen enough videos of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon. The texture is so weird. Like, you gotta bend it so far before it will break.
But it wasn't just rubbery. There was something else about the watermelon that was bothering a lot of people.
Okay, y'all. I threw this watermelon out over a week ago. It smelled really good. Bought it from cut it open, and it was like plastic. Tasting it was absolutely horrible. I didn't really know what to do with it, so I threw it outside. This is a week later. It looks like mud. What's going on?
It was pretty obvious that there was something off about the watermelon and a lot of people were noticing it. But here's the thing, it wasn't just the watermelons.
This is a cocktail.
There you go.
People were also noticing the same thing happening with avocados, blueberries, bananas, and the list goes on.
We got it from the supermarket, but when she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue. It's very tight and doughy. It looks very fake and Play-Doh.
In this next video, Ari Osborne explains how she bought blueberries in the supermarket. When she gave it to her kid, she noticed that one of them looked like it was made out of rubber. Check this out.
It's left in her little bowl and I put it down the drain for the garbage disposal. And I push the button, it's doing its thing, but there's a clanking and it sounds like something's stuck. So I go in the drain and there's a blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not. I pick it up and why is there a rubber blueberry in my toddler's snack?
She cut it in half and it actually looks as if it's made out of silicone or something like that. Strange, isn't it? But it gets even stranger. In this next video, a woman tests out the food in the supermarket using a magnet, and this is what happens.
Look at this shit. Put a magnet that I got from here into the great chicken. Let's try for. Look at that shit.
After these videos were posted and became a viral sensation, it made a lot of people ask the same question. Are we possibly eating fake food? What's your take?
Let's take a look now at what his appeal treatment is doing to the food that folks are purchasing in grocery stores.
Today we're going to talk about Bill Gates' appeal and if it's safe. I did a pretty thorough research on Google to see if it was safe, and as I was reading the pages, it looked really safe until I took one additional look at the ingredients of this appeal, and one of the things that was listed is his 99.34% of this product is listed as other ingredients. Other ingredients? It doesn't tell you what's in it. So right there is a big red flag. There's no transparency. There's a lot of problems with this product. We don't know if they added carrageenan in there, which creates a lot of problems for people. And some of the other edible coatings that they use are things like beeswax, which I think is a lot better, but they also use like shellac. I mean, don't they use shellac in woodworking, staining, or sometimes they'll put that on your nails? Is that safe? So I learned a lot about these coatings that they're apparently putting on our fruits and vegetables, especially if you bring these fruits or vegetables home and you want to clean them off, right? So if you have this appeal coating around it, how are you going to take the pesticides out if it's conventional? You might want to just buy fruits or vegetables that don't have this coating. And yes, they might go bad a little bit quicker, but at least you can wash them off with something more natural.
Let's listen to what this professor had to say about Mr. Gates.
I think Bill Gates has done more damage to the world's health than probably any other individual, aided and abetted by Tony Fauci.
So, once again, Ukraine Aid is funding the water wars on the farmers in Idaho. Take a look.
Do you wonder where all the Ukraine money is going? Well, it looks like we've started a thread to pull. Idaho is trying to shut off water to 500,000 acres of farmland, 781 miles. But there's been plenty of rain this spring, so that's not it. They say it's due to water reserves underground, that it's projected to deplete at a too fast of a rate to preserve water supply. They need to shut off the water to 500,000 acres of Idaho farmland. But the Continuing Appropriations and Ukraine Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2023 approved $4.5 billion for direct financial support to the government of Ukraine, or so they said. Jervois Global Limited enters an agreement for $15 million for information on drilling at its Idaho cobalt mine, utilizing funds from the additional Ukraine Supplemental Appropriations Act. Why is money for direct financial support for the government of Ukraine being rerouted by the Department of Defense to a cobalt mine in Idaho? Cobalt used in batteries for your phones, computers, electric cars. There are countless valuable usages for cobalt. Any side effects of cobalt we should be aware of, considering we use it in everything? Cobalt exposure triggers impairments in cognitive and anxiety-like behaviors, brain oxidative stress, and inflammation. And do you know what's a necessary component of cobalt mining in mass? Guessed it, water. Lots of water. On May 31st, 2024, Idaho Department of Water announced shutting off water to 500,000 acres of farmland. June 21st, 2024, Jervois cobalt mine can start drilling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Idaho is shutting off water due to a shortage at the same time the cobalt mine is set to start operating 24/7. And it's Ukraine's funding bill, one of many, that gave $15 million to Jervois to restart operations after losing money. Couple of things to look further into. How many members of Congress have a financial interest in this cobalt mine? My initial research, a lot. Also, is it linked to the CHIPS Act, where they gave Micron a fistful of money to start manufacturing in Idaho? And are they trying to destroy crops so they can take the land and mine more cobalt, or is it purely to control the water supply? I was just in Idaho, absolutely beautiful state filled with great people. And the government shows up with the government gun and forces their will. Again, maybe it's just a coincidence and I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Perhaps. But one fact remains absolutely true. Money that we were told was going to Ukraine is not. There is no coincidence.
Let's go back to 2022 when...
Okay, I'm going to put the link in again. And I went with my subscriber's daughter today to do some shopping, and I don't know what to buy anymore. I really don't. I mean, I live on these so-called organic fig bars. That's pretty much my diet now. I don't know what to eat anymore. My stomach last night, never before have I experienced what I experienced, like rumblings going on. My entire abdomen was just rumbling and rumbling, and never before. More stuff, but I don't even want to talk about it. But I mean, since I've been here, and I think I've said this before, that I have, periodically, rare, but I've experienced agita, my stomach, usually coming, from nerves or whatever. But I don't know, this is more food related. I'm not eating anything all that different. And I don't eat crap. But my diet sucks, I will say that, but it sucked for years now. And that's because of my circumstances. I mean, summers, I lived on fruits, vegetables, produce, grains, nuts and seeds and yogurt. We went to a place called Sprouts. And I'm looking at what they claim is organic. And I'm quite sure it was that appeal coating. All of the produce looked very uniform and very shiny. And I'm looking at all of this food that's supposed to be, in like a whole food equivalent store. Nothing I wanted to buy, nothing. Because I knew that everything is genetically modified now, and watermelon I love. Never will I buy it now. Never. Bananas, I keep buying bananas, and I might have one out of the bunch. And I won't even eat the whole thing anymore. There's no seeds in the middle, and they have these very thick vines on the banana once you peel it. What's that about? Mm-mm. Our food has been taken over completely. We should be very upset about this. Right? We should be ripshit. Okay. 6:56. Live honestly, speak honestly. Establish yourself as a trustworthy human being. Don't just think you are one. Ask yourself, am I one? Help those in your community that are in need. We've got a community here. Here, how about this for tomorrow night? Think tonight and tomorrow about ideas to help one another in this community. And then during the live tomorrow, in the chat, let me see your ideas. We've got to come up with something. Right? Don't we? Don't we have to help one another? Don't we? Yeah. Think. What can we do? How can we create a system where we can take in donations, and it will be a trusting, there will be a trusting foundation. That's your homework. That's your homework. We had a really big thunderstorm today. The cloud coverage is so out there thick. It's really thick. And gray. There's no place that I can plant watermelon seeds. So that's okay, Steve. But thank you. So let's think of something, okay? Put our minds together. Yeah. I'd love to see something happen. That would give me a good purpose to stick around, for sure. Anyway, stay safe. Stay safe, be aware. Yeah, it's a very different time living in the good old US of A, isn't it? Thank you for showing up. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.